Get ready for some championship fireworks because Leeds United are on fire and looking like they're heading right back to the Premier League. But first, they've got to get past West Bromwich Albion. This deep dive into their upcoming match is brought to you by us, the experts at therealefl.co.uk.
We're going way beyond those headlines you see everywhere else, using the stats and insights that'll make you the most informed fan around.
Love it. So let's set the stage. When and where is this showdown happening?
It all kicks off on Saturday, March 1st at Ellen Road, Leeds home turf. Early kickoff broadcast live on Sky Sports, so you just know the atmosphere is going to be electric.
Electric's right. And everyone's been buzzing about Leeds' dominance this season. What makes them such a force to be reckoned with?
Their form's been phenomenal, unbeaten since way back in November, sitting pretty at the top of the table, but, it's their goal difference that's really eye-popping.
I can imagine.
71 goals scored. That's 16 more than any other team in the entire championship.
Wow, that's an offensive juggernaut. But what about West Brom? They're no pushovers, are they?
Absolutely not. They're right there in a playoff spot, so they're battling for a chance at promotion too. But, that 24-point gap between them and Leeds really shows the difference in quality between their seasons so far.
Yeah, that's quite the gap to close. So let's get to our first prediction. What's the verdict from therealefl.co.uk?
We're predicting a Leeds win.
I can't say I'm surprised.
Might seem obvious, but it's not just about their current form. Leeds have got a huge advantage at Ellen Road. They need to keep those wins coming if they want to guarantee promotion, and their squad is just better, plain and simple.
I'm with you on that one. But where it gets really interesting is our second prediction.
We're calling it over 2.5 goals in this match. This is where that powerful Leeds attack really comes in. They average a crazy 2.09 goals per game and have scored at least 2 in 23 matches this season.
Sounds like a goal fest waiting to happen. But is it just the overall attack, or are there any specific players we should be watching?
Our third prediction zooms in on their Dutch star, Joel Pirot.
Ah, the man of the hour.
Yeah.
What makes him so special?
Not only is he Leeds' joint top scorer in the championship, he's been on fire lately. 5 goals in his last 6 games. This guy is a goal machine who is absolutely determined to get Leeds back into the Premier League.
Pirot's definitely a player to watch. But before we count West Brom out, let's look at their history with Leeds. Any previous encounters?
They've had some interesting battles over the years. Since 2018, they've faced off 9 times.
Oh, wow.
And, well, it's not totally one-sided, but Leeds does have the advantage. 4 wins compared to West Brom's 2.
So there's a bit of a rivalry brewing there. Anything else that could shake things up in this match? Key players missing, injuries, suspensions.
Unfortunately for Leeds, they will be missing a couple of important players, Max Wilber and Patrick Bamford. Their absence could definitely affect their strategy.
That's a tough break for Leeds. But on the other hand, it gives other players a chance to step up. What about West Brom? Any notable absences on their side?
They've got some injury challenges too. Josh Masha, Jed Wallace, and Semi Ajayi are all out for this one.
So both sides are dealing with some missing pieces. That definitely makes our predictions even more interesting, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And it makes this match even more unpredictable and exciting to analyze.
Well, that's the beauty of football, isn't it? It always keeps us on our toes. But this is just a small taste of what's to come.
Just scratching the surface here.
So for those who want the full picture, all the details and analysis, where should they head?
You can find a much deeper dive into all the stats, potential lineups, and our full breakdown of the match in our detailed article on therealefl.co.uk.
You heard the expert. Head over to therealefl.co.uk for the complete lowdown. Now, before we move on to part 2 of this deep dive, any last bold predictions or gut feelings you want to share about this matchup?
Well, Leeds are definitely the favorites, but West Brom shouldn't be underestimated. They've proven they can hold their own, and in football, anything can happen.
I couldn't agree more. This is going to be a fascinating match. But we'll save the rest of our analysis for part 2. Stay tuned.
What's interesting about Leeds' attack is it's not just about scoring a lot of goals, it's how they create those opportunities.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's their movement off the ball. They're always interchanging positions, making these darting runs, pulling defenders out of position.
Huh?
This fluidity makes them so difficult to mark, and it just opens up so much space for their attackers.
So it's a real team effort, like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. And that's why our prediction of over 2.5 goals isn't just like looking at the stats. It's about knowing that West Brom's defense is going to be under immense pressure to deal with this constant movement and attacking threat.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You're not just saying they score a lot. You're explaining why they're likely to score a lot in this particular game.
Right. Now, West Brom's defensive record isn't, terrible, but it's not their strong suit either.
So are there any, specific weaknesses in their back line that Leeds might target?
I wouldn't say glaring weaknesses. It's more about the intensity Leeds brings. Their high-energy pressing can really force those errors. And against a team as clinical as Leeds, those errors turn into goals.
So even if West Brom's defense is solid for most of the match, one little mistake could be fatal.
Precisely. And that's another point for our over 2.5 goals prediction.
Okay. So we've got Leeds' incredible attack, West Brom's shaky defense, and a history of these two teams putting on a show. Sounds like a must-watch game.
Absolutely. But to make it even more interesting, think about the tactical battle between the managers. You've got Daniel Farke for Leeds, known for his attacking philosophy and possession-based football.
Right. We've seen how effective that's been this season.
Then you've got Tony Mowbray at West Brom, a very experienced manager who prefers a more, pragmatic approach.
So it's a clash of styles, not just teams.
Exactly. Farke will most likely encourage his team to press high, dominate possession, and, just create chances from open play. Mowbray, though, he might set up his team to absorb the pressure, stay compact, and then look to hit Leeds on the counter.
Fascinating tactical contrast. For our listeners who might be newer to the championship, what are the bigger implications of this match for both teams?
Well, for Leeds, a win is crucial. They need to maintain that momentum. They're in the best position to get automatic promotion. But any slip-up, and the other teams can catch up.
So every point counts at this stage of the season.
Absolutely. For West Brom, beating the league leaders, huge statement, boost their confidence, solidify their playoff position, and maybe, just maybe, give them an outside chance of reaching those automatic promotion spots.
Stakes are high for both sides then. It's more than just 3 points.
For sure. It's about the psychology, the momentum, the story of their seasons.
Absolutely. And for the neutral fans, it's a chance to see a clash of styles, some goals, maybe even a few surprises. All adds up to a great Saturday of championship football. Now, for those who want a more in-depth breakdown of the tactics and all the finer details, where should they go?
Head over to our full article on therealfl.co.uk. We've got all the information you need to really appreciate this matchup.
You heard the expert, folks. Therealfl.co.uk. Before we wrap things up in part 3 with our final thoughts, anything else that's got you particularly interested about this clash?
I'm really intrigued by the mental side of this game. Leeds are the favorites, but that brings pressure. Can they handle it, or will they crack?
Good point. And West Brom being the underdog, maybe they'll feel free, less pressure, which could make them dangerous.
Exactly. That's what makes this match so compelling. It's about who's mentally tougher, who stays focused, who seizes those crucial moments.
It's not just about the physical game. The mental game can really decide these high-stakes matches. But for more on that, we'll have to move on to part 3. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into this massive championship clash between Leeds United and West Bromwich Albion.
We're finishing things up by looking at something that can really make or break a team.
The mental game.
You got it. Because it's not just about physical skill and tactics. It's about handling that pressure when it matters most.
And in this match, we've got two teams in very different places mentally.
Right.
So how do you see it playing out for both sides?
Well, for Leeds, there's massive pressure.
Being the favorites.
Yeah. Everyone expects them to win, to just dominate, and that's a lot to carry, especially with that goal of going back to the Premier League looming over them.
Any weakness, any doubt could derail their whole season.
For sure. They need to stay focused, ignore all the distractions, and treat this match like any other, even though it's huge.
What about West Brom? Being the underdogs, does that give them an edge mentally?
It could. No one expects them to win, so they can play loose.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah. That can make them dangerous. They can take risks, play without fear, and maybe catch Leeds by surprise.
So maybe that pressure being off actually helps West Brom play their best.
Exactly. And that's why we can't rule out an upset.
Even though Leeds are in better form and you've predicted a win for them.
Right. Remember, anything can happen in football, and the mental side can really tip the balance.
It all comes down to who can control their emotions, stay disciplined, and execute their game plan. Makes this match even more interesting. It's a battle of minds, not just skills. Well said. So for all our listeners who want to see this clash of styles, this mental showdown, this potential roller coaster, where can they find your full analysis?
Head over to therealfl.co.uk. We have all the stats and information you need to get ready for this championship matchup.
You heard the expert. therealfl.co.uk. And as we wrap up this deep dive, let's not forget how unpredictable football is. Leeds are the favorites, but West Brom can absolutely pull off a surprise. In the end, it'll come down to who performs best on the day. So be sure to tune in on Saturday for what's going to be a great match between two very different teams. Until next time, keep enjoying the beautiful game.